Hello and welcome back to this edition of Daily Actives brought to you by Bootleg Macro. I'm Dustin. We are going to be looking at Tesla. I'm going to explain to you why Tesla was a buy for me today. Now, most people would be looking at the price action and say, wow, Tesla was down 0.95%. After now it's down for what, 4 of the last 5 days? I mean, it's been down quite a bit over even the last single day since the 19th of July. It's been rolling on a negative return 2 days consecutive in a row for quite a while. We haven't seen the bullishness really continue to break out. It's been rolling on a 15-day rolling negative return for quite a while now and is down 13.41% in 15 days. I mean, on the 1 month return, which is one of the most important things if you watch my videos to me, has gone negative and has been negative for quite a while. But there was one thing in particular that I want you to pay attention to, and that is this red number right here. That is 287.12%. And that difference there, boys and girls, is the amount that Tesla's volatility changed after it bottomed the day before on the 4th, or Friday, better known as August 4th. For me, this is a big deal. And the reason why is because I have been waiting for the volatility to flip because I know that there's price correlation. You can look here at the future price path. This is mostly based off of the idea of, is the volatility and is the correlation of the price working in unison together to also drive the price higher or lower depending on what the signal is. Now, Tesla, if we look at the overall signal, does have a go short in the short term, intermediate term, and longer term. It does have what will be a flipping to full bearish across the short term, intermediate term, and longer term sentiment as of tomorrow. The one thing I like to caveat here is that when I think about my own signals that I built for myself when it comes to trend indicators, I need to see the indicator for the long-term bullishness actually flip to a different trend 2 days in a row. So you see how it went from bullish to bearish here. I don't count this bearish because there was another bearish. But you see how we were bearish here and then we got two bullish? That would have reminded me that it was bullish. I use that as an indicator because I've found that generally this can flip back and forth sometimes because of daily motion. But when you get a big break like you have here, like you see that this was bearish since here. This is bearish since it looks like March 9th. When it went bearish the second day, I most likely would have shorted it that day, and that would have been $179. I don't know what that would have meant for Tesla. It may have been a bad signal. Looks like it wasn't a great signal in the short term. Probably would have gotten shaken out there, which is completely fine. But it did lead us to a place where bearishness was definitely in vogue for quite a while until we got to the point where we were in the beginning of May, or the end of May here in the 23rd of 2023. Since then, we have essentially been in a bullish dynamic where we have not had two bears and to back to flip it on the longer term. We will see if tomorrow is another day. I suspect that it will not be, and that is because of the volatility. Now, when we go and look at the overall sentiment here of Tesla, now this is going to be the rolling sentiment of bullishness in the stock itself right now. We're going to look, we can see that this is a representation essentially of the ultra fast sentiment. That is the 2 day rolling bullishness inside of Tesla at the moment, or any stock that we choose to look at. What we can see, though, is that Tesla essentially had the very top of its bullishness in the middle of June. It looks like it's 71% or 70.1%. We have essentially gotten back to 50% ever since. Now, Tesla's been back here at this kind of level before after a massive move. Remember January? Remember how good January felt for Tesla bulls? We have seen the price action or the bullishness go sideways for quite a while. It went sideways from March all the way until May. There's no reason to believe that this will change necessarily. The only thing that I will say is I believe in the volatility, and I will show you exactly what I mean. Now, this is the chart that's up close and personal to Tesla. Obviously, this is the days. I think this goes back all the way 9 months or so. You can see we have at the very bottom, we have August right now. In the back, we have November of 2022. So this is 9 months of full data of Tesla's chart. Now, when we look at what we see here, the price essentially, it looks like hit a low of $242. Now, I don't know if that's significant. It does look like $240 was the low in June of 2023. So that would be something we'd want to look to support. Again, if we look at the overall sentiment, we can see the sentiment, it looks like it is at least basing around 50%. It could start to rise. We will find out in Tesla. But the most important part to me, and we'll skip for the volatility or the volume right now, the most important part to me is this chart. What I see here, just like we pointed out in the raw data, is we see that there was a bottom where Tesla volatility, which has been peaking, which it peaked in the middle of June and has been falling for 2 full months now. Essentially, I mean, this thing, yeah, it peaked in June of 2023. We've gone through all of the rest of July, and I guess we were only at the beginning of August, so it's been about 6 weeks. We are finally starting to see a new hill be formed. Now, the benefit that we have is that we see that the Tesla volatility and price correlation here is actually breaking out to higher highs as well. It's above the 15-day moving average of the volatility, and the volatility is about to break out. Now, what this would mean, at least how I see it for myself in the position that I took, is based on the idea that we are going to see volatility expand, which is going to mean that we're going to get gap ups. We're going to get big moves in Tesla very, very quickly, and these things will be violent. The only reason why we wouldn't expect that is if we get what looks like is maybe even this kind of hill. It have to be smaller than this because even this hill is going to get a nice move, I think, from what we're talking about for the position that I took. So the type of move that we're looking at in Tesla right now, I think, can be dynamic. It could be explosive. I mean, when you look at the overall trade range here, and I'm going to kind of zoom out just so you can see a little bit better. If we look at the trade range here, we're very close to the bottom. The bottom is $240. Surprise, surprise. It lines up with the chart as well. We look here at the very top, it's at $298. I think we can very easily break 260 this week just because Tesla has that kind of movement in it. Tesla is a believer. Tesla's a fighter. Tesla's one of those stocks that will just rip your eyes out if you're short for too long because everybody wants it to go down at a certain point, but it just doesn't. And it looks like 241 back here in June was that low that we're really going to respect. I believe in this stock right now. I believe in the type of movements that I see in the ultra fast indicator. The only thing, if I was going to challenge myself on it, is that you can look and see the ultra fast, at least even on the weekly, is still at 56%. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to stop there, but it was at a recent high of 62. You could at least see a counter trend move. Tesla's obviously coming off the top of its weekly range. You can see that here. I just think, in all honesty, what I'm seeing is on the weekly, I see the price correlation breaking out, and on the weekly, I see the volatility continuing to break out. So when I look over and I see this volatility is going to start breaking out alongside it, and this correlation is going positive while the weekly is, there's just too much alignment in the longer term and the shorter term signal here for what I want to see in Tesla. But tell me what you think in the comments below. Are you long or are you short? Do you like it? Do you love it? Is this even a good review? And before you go, subscribe to the New High newsletter. We send you 25 stocks to your inbox every Sunday at 9 a.m. Go get you some. Talk to you soon.